'Twas the week before Christmas, and it is this week at Little Hills, and I am so glad to be with you as we continue in the new City Catechism. We're coming to a question that at first might not seem like a Christmas week kind of question. We're just going through. But as we look at question 15, I think we really see the heart of Christmas. Listen to the question. It says, since no one can keep the law, what is its purpose? The answer given is that we may know the holy nature and will of God and the sinful nature and disobedience of our hearts, and thus our need of a Savior. The law also teaches us and exhorts us to live a life worthy of our Savior. When we think about God's demands, and they're righteous demands, they're just demands, God calls us to perfection, and yet we always fall short. And yet, on Christmas week, what do we remember? We remember the only human being ever to live a perfect life, God incarnate as a human being, living and dwelling amongst us. It reminds me of what we find in Exodus chapter 20. It's the chapter that has the 10 Commandments. We've been thinking about those over the last few weeks as we go through the Catechism. And here's how it begins. Before you get into the actual commands that we normally think of. It says, and God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. Think about that. Before God commands anything, this was something the first time I heard it that struck me so deeply. Before God commands anything, what does he do? He reminds the people of Israel who he is to them, that he is the God who has rescued them. He has brought them out of a land in which they were enslaved. Now he's going to call them to do something, just as that catechism question speaks of. But first, he's rescued them. As we think about what Jesus continues to call us to do, we see throughout his life a demonstration of the Exodus. Jesus lives the Exodus. He is the perfect Israel that leaves Egypt, leaves the land of sin, and enters into God's righteous land, his promised land. As we think about that picture, as we think about how Jesus lives that life, we know that he invites us into that righteousness. And just as the Lord said to the Israelites so many years before, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, so too today God says to you and to me, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of sin, out of the house of slavery, and brought you into my family. That's what we celebrate on Christmas. That's what we celebrate every day as Christians. That's what we exist to celebrate as a church and to share with other people. The warmth of this fire is the warmth of the good news of the gospel. That's what we're called to bring to the people this winter. Not just a holiday, not just lights, but the warmth of something that will truly warm all of our hearts, the hope that yes, we are enslaved to sin. Yes, we fail over and over again, but God has come into this world and he has rescued us, the ultimate exodus. I hope you'll join us on Christmas Eve. It's just a few days away. I hope you'll join us as we celebrate that even greater exodus, the exodus from sin that happens because Jesus came into the world and led us out of that bondage. I hope you have a blessed Christmas week, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.